Palestine isn't just a land, it's a divine test of who stands for truth. When you look at that land, you're not just looking at a piece of geography. You're looking at history, prophecy, pain, and resistance all wrapped into one. From the days of prophets to the cries of children today, Palestine has always held a mirror up to the world. A mirror that asks, who are you really? Are you someone who stands for truth, or someone who stays silent when injustice screams? Because silence in the face of oppression isn't neutrality, it's complicity. There's a reason why Palestine keeps coming back into the global spotlight. It's not just because of news cycles or politics. It's spiritual. It's a reminder from the divine. It shakes the conscience of humanity and forces every soul to confront what it really believes in. In that sense, Palestine becomes more than just a location on a map, it becomes a symbol. A symbol of resistance against tyranny, of truth standing tall against lies, of light trying to break through layers of darkness. And for the believers, this isn't just a political issue, it's a prophetic one. The Quran speaks about standing with the oppressed. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us to support the weak, to defend the innocent, to never stay silent in the face of Zulm oppression. So when you see tanks roll through Gaza or bombs falling on homes, the question isn't what can I do? The question is, will I do what I'm supposed to? Will I raise my voice? Will I make sincere dua? Will I act, even in small ways, to be on the side of truth? This is why Palestine becomes a test. Because the oppressed don't need millions to rise, they need the sincere. And sincerity is rare in a world chasing comfort and convenience. It's easy to be loud when it costs you nothing. But the real test comes when standing for truth means losing followers, facing criticism, or breaking your own routine of comfort. That's what Palestine demands, not pity, but partnership, not hashtags, but heart. Not just emotion, but conviction. There's something deeply spiritual about what's happening. It's not just about freeing land, it's about freeing hearts. Every time injustice shows its face in Palestine, it challenges the rest of the world. Will you wake up? Will you see through the lies? Will you recognize that this isn't a local issue, it's a global trial of conscience? Because God doesn't test people with what they don't see, He tests them with what's placed directly in front of them. And when the dust settles and history looks back on these moments, it won't just ask what happened in Palestine, it'll ask what the world did while it happened. And your name, my name, our silence, or our stand will be part of that answer. Because in the end, Palestine isn't just a crisis. It's a question. And the way we respond writes part of our story in the divine book. The land of Palestine may be bleeding, but it is also exposing who we really are and whether we will rise to be counted among those who stood with truth when it mattered most. Falsehood may look powerful, but prophecy guarantees its fall. That's the core of everything we're witnessing today. When you look at the systems of oppression, the military might, the political alliances, the media manipulation, it all seems unstoppable. It feels like the lies are winning, like those who oppress and destroy do so without consequence. But that's only the surface. Because beneath that illusion of control is a truth that cannot be buried. A divine promise that what is built on falsehood will eventually crumble. The Quran says it clearly, truth has come and falsehood has perished. Surely falsehood is bound to perish. This isn't just poetic, it's prophecy, it's a law. Just like gravity pulls things down, falsehood pulls itself toward destruction. It may take time, it may look like it's standing tall for years, decades even. But its collapse is written not in newspapers but in the heavens. Throughout history we've seen this cycle. Tyrants rise, empires expand, injustice becomes normalized. But then truth shows up, and the people who had nothing but faith begin to turn the tide. It's never about numbers, never about weapons, it's about sincerity, patience, and divine timing. Pharaoh looked untouchable until the sea swallowed him. Nimrod thought he could challenge God, but a single mosquito ended him. These weren't coincidences, they were signs. Signs that no matter how powerful falsehood seems, it carries within it the seeds of its own destruction. Today Israel may appear strong, backed by the most advanced technology, supported by global superpowers, defended by media narratives that try to justify its actions. But none of that changes the reality that it was built on the displacement of people, on the blood of innocence, on lies dressed up as legitimacy. And anything built on that kind of foundation is not sustainable. It may last a while. It may even flourish for a time, but eventually it falls because truth is like light and falsehood can only exist in its absence. What's happening now in the world, especially in Palestine, is painful, but it's also part of a bigger story. A divine script. The suffering, the oppression, the lies, all of it is leading somewhere. And those who hold on to faith, who refuse to bow to falsehood, they are part of the prophecy too. Because the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told us there would come a time when the truth would be difficult to hold, like holding on to burning coal. Yet those who hold it, they would be rewarded beyond measure. They are the ones who will see the collapse of falsehood with their own eyes. So don't be fooled by what you see on the surface. Don't be intimidated by power that only looks permanent. Every bomb dropped, every wall built, every voice silenced, it only delays the inevitable. But it doesn't prevent it, because the fall of falsehood isn't a possibility, it's a guarantee. And in that fall, the world will remember who stood for what. It will remember who defended truth when it was dangerous, who chose silence when it was convenient, who spoke out when it cost them, because truth doesn't need a crowd, it just needs commitment. Falsehood might roar like a lion, but it's already dying, because prophecy doesn't lie and justice is coming. Every tear in Gaza echoes the beginning of a greater awakening. These aren't just drops of sorrow, they are silent screams that reach beyond the borders, beyond politics, beyond screens. Each tear falling from the eyes of a mother, a child, a broken father in Gaza carries a weight that can't be measured in statistics or sound bites. It's a witness to the stirring of hearts across the globe. Because when the world sees such raw pain and stillness falls over our conscience, something begins to change, something awakens. We live in a world that's grown numb, distracted, caught up in trends, chasing comfort, scrolling past real suffering like it's just background noise. But Gaza doesn't allow that. Gaza breaks through. It stops people in their tracks. And suddenly, they're not just watching, they're feeling. And that feeling, that shaking of the soul, that discomfort, that's the start of awakening. You see, pain can do what logic can't. It can wake up a sleeping heart. It can turn a passive observer into a passionate advocate. It can turn disbelief into conviction. That's what's happening now, even if you don't see it on the news, even if the media doesn't report it, even if politicians turn their backs. Behind the scenes, in hearts and homes and conversations all around the world, something is shifting. People who never cared are now asking questions. People who stayed silent are now speaking. People who were lost are turning back to faith, to purpose, to meaning. Because those tears in Gaza don't just fall on the ground, they fall on the soul of humanity, and they spark something that can't be undone. The blood of the innocent has always been a turning point in history. It was the cry of the baby Musa that signaled the beginning of Pharaoh's downfall. It was the oppression of Bani Israel that led to their freedom. And now, the cries from Gaza are becoming a signal, a divine alarm clock, waking the world from its deep sleep. Because you can't kill truth with missiles. You can't erase faith with force. You can't silence a people whose spirit is connected to something higher than this world. Every time a child cries under rubble, every time a family prays in fear but with faith, every time a martyr falls, the heavens witness it. And the world, slowly but surely, starts to see. And in that seeing, in that heartbreak, hearts are being purified. People are turning back to their Creator. They're asking deeper questions. They're realizing how empty this world is without justice, without compassion, without faith. This awakening is not just political, it's spiritual, and it's global. What's happening in Gaza isn't isolated. It's echoing in mosques, in living rooms, in classrooms, in street protests. It's uniting people. It's exposing the truth. It's peeling back the layers of lies that have numbed the world for so long. And while it may feel like darkness is winning, what we're actually seeing is the night before the dawn. So don't underestimate the power of a tear. Don't overlook the pain thinking it's only tragedy, because with every tear that falls in Gaza, a heart somewhere else in the world begins to awaken. And once awakened, that heart becomes a voice. That voice becomes a movement. And that movement becomes the fulfillment of a promise. That truth will rise and the oppressed will be honored. The rise of Imam Mahdi will not bring peace through politics, but through justice. This is not a diplomatic event. This is not another summit or a roundtable discussion. This is a divine moment, one foretold, one awaited, one destined. In a world drowning in deception, injustice, and betrayal, the arrival of Imam Mahdi will not be another temporary solution. It will be a reset. A divine reset that breaks the cycle of oppression, dismantles systems of falsehood, and restores what this world has long forgotten, true justice. For too long, we've watched peace be negotiated through deals that favor the powerful and abandon the oppressed. We've seen treaties signed with ink dipped in blood, smiles hiding the screams of the suffering. We've seen leaders speak of peace while bombs fall on homes. But peace without justice is an illusion. It's a bandage over a bullet wound. And the rise of Imam Mahdi is the end of illusions. He will not come with empty promises. He will come with fulfillment of all the prayers made in silence, all the tears shed in sujud, all the cries of the oppressed echoing through the skies. His leadership won't be about popularity or policy. It will be about truth. Unapologetic, uncompromised, unshaken. Imam Mahdi's rise is not a legend. It's a reality waiting for its time. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, spoke of him in clear, authentic narrations, a man from his own lineage, a man whose name will mirror his, a man who will fill the earth with justice, just as it was filled with tyranny. And what does that mean for us? It means that the oppression we see now, especially in places like Palestine, is not the final chapter. It means that divine intervention is coming not through elections but through destiny. He won't come to ask permission. He won't come to compromise. He will come with the authority of divine truth. And behind him will stand those who never bent the knee to injustice, those whose hearts never gave up even when the world turned its back. His rise will mark the fall of arrogance, the collapse of corrupt empires, the silencing of those who built their power on the pain of the weak. And while the world may mock this belief, while some may call it fantasy, the believers know. Deep down, in a place where no propaganda can reach, we know that justice delayed is not justice denied. We know that when every door seems closed, that's when the divine door opens. And we know that the arrival of Imam Mahdi is that door. His leadership will not rely on weapons of mass destruction. It will rely on truth. And truth is the most powerful weapon there is. His justice will not discriminate. He will not rule for one group while ignoring another. He will be fair because he is guided by the one who sees all, hears all, and knows all. And in his time, Palestine will be free not just physically, but with dignity, honor, and divine recognition. So don't wait for politicians to deliver what was never theirs to give. Look beyond the headlines. Understand that real peace will never come from those who benefit from war. It will come from a man who walks in the footsteps of the prophet. A man chosen, not elected. A man promised, not promoted. And when he rises, the world will know what real justice feels like, and it will taste peace for the first time in its truest form. You're not a bystander, you're a soldier in the unseen army of truth. That may sound like a metaphor, but it's not. It's a reality most people ignore because it's not broadcast on TV or trending online. But in the eyes of the unseen world, every soul is taking a side, every heart is making a choice. In the battle between truth and falsehood, silence is not neutral. And if you think you're just watching events unfold, thinking it's too big for you to change, know this: even watching with your heart in the right place makes you part of something far greater than you imagine. In times of trial, the world divides itself not between rich and poor, east and west, or powerful and weak, but between those who stand for truth and those who don't. And standing for truth doesn't always mean marching in the streets or leading a movement. Sometimes it means making dua when no one sees. Sometimes it means educating your children with clarity and compassion. Sometimes it's giving, speaking, sacrificing, or even just refusing to believe the lies. In all these moments, you're on the front lines. You're in the ranks of those Allah sees as his soldiers, not with weapons, but with sincerity. You may not be in Gaza, but your heart can be. Your voice, your wealth, your influence, they all have weight in this unseen war. And don't think it goes unnoticed. The angels record every intention. Every tear you shed for the oppressed is counted. Every time you click away from distraction to connect with your Lord, you're strengthening the cause of truth. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever relieves the hardship of a believer in this world, Allah will relieve his hardship on the day of judgment." That means even your care, even your empathy, even your voice is a shield in this divine battle. This is not a small role. This is not a background part. In fact, some of the most powerful warriors in this battle are the ones the world overlooks. The mother who raises a son to be strong in faith. The student who speaks truth in a classroom full of silence. The worker who refuses to support injustice even at the cost of his job. These are the soldiers. These are the frontliners in a war that isn't fought with bombs but with belief. The army of truth is invisible to most, but it's real. It is made of people who are tired of lies. People who can't unsee what they've seen. People who felt the pull in their soul telling them, do something. Be something, say something. And every single one of them is chosen not by people but by God. Not based on fame, but based on faith. Don't ever believe the lie that you're too small to matter. That's what the world wants you to think, so you stay passive. But the truth is, one sincere heart can outweigh 1,000 passive ones. One act of courage, one night of prayer, one donation made with pure intention, it can tip the scale. You were created for this time, for this test, for this moment, not to watch, but to act. You are not powerless. You are not invisible. You are part of something divine. And the moment you choose truth fully, consistently, fearlessly, you become a soldier in the most honorable army this world will ever witness. Prophecy isn't coming, it's already unfolding, and you're part of it. What we're seeing around the world, especially in Palestine, isn't just political chaos or another humanitarian crisis. It's prophecy in motion. It's the fulfillment of signs that were spoken of over 1,400 years ago. Signs that felt distant, even symbolic, are now becoming reality. But the real shock is not just that these prophecies are unfolding, it's that most people are still asleep, treating divine warnings like headlines to scroll past. But whether you're paying attention or not, the script is being played out and your role in it is being written. From the Hadith to the Quran, there are descriptions of a time when oppression would spread, when truth would be silenced, when the world would be upside down, when the one holding on to faith would feel like they're holding on to burning coal. Sound familiar? That's not future talk anymore. That's today. It's now. And you're living it. Whether you like it or not, whether you accept it or not, you've been born into a time that was described with divine precision. And that means you're not here by accident. You're not just a viewer of prophecy, you're part of its unfolding. The suffering in Palestine, the rising confusion in the world, the hunger for justice, all of it was foretold. And all of it is leading to something greater. The rise of Imam Mahdi, the return of Isa, Jesus, peace be upon him, the ultimate defeat of falsehood. These aren't fantasies. These are facts written in sacred texts. And every move happening around you, from the smallest act of oppression to the loudest cries for freedom, is connected to that timeline. You don't need to wait for angels to descend to know that the time is near. You just need to look around. The masks are falling. The lines are being drawn. People are waking up, not in millions, but in sincerity, in truth, in actions that align with the prophecies we've read our whole lives but never thought we'd live to see. The idea that prophecy is in the distance is gone. What's far is now near. What was unseen is now unfolding in front of us. And if you're here witnessing it, then you've been chosen to play a role in it. That role could be small to others, but it's massive in the eyes of God. Your dua, your stand for truth, your rejection of falsehood, your raising of awareness, your teaching, your prayer, all of it contributes to the tide that prophecy has promised. Because in the end, it's not just about watching the signs, it's about answering them, responding to them, becoming the person who was foretold to rise when the world was falling apart. I don't wait for someone else to lead. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The moment is now. The story has already begun. And you, by being awake, aware, and aligned with truth, are already walking the path that was written for the believers at the end of time. The question isn't whether prophecy is real. The question is whether you'll be one of the names written on the side of truth when it all comes to pass. You are not reading about history, you are living it. And what you choose to do at this moment could echo far beyond this world.